We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Was Trained by all of the Shonen Jump protagonists. This is part 39, and yeah, sorry it's been a while since I last upload. Like I said, even though that this series was once one of my most popular what ifs, it's now basically, well, barely making the numbers like it used to after all. And like I've said this, guys, I probably won't be focusing on it too much like I used to. I'm letting you all know this now. Any rate, well, let's go through a quick recap though. In the last part, Izuku finally got a better handle of his cursed gear, otherwise known as Izahime. Not only that, he's also starting to get his hero costume upgraded, basically an all-new hero costume in general. Not to mention, let's also bring the fact that he's still trying to help Bakugo awaken and unlock his Reishi, so he could basically prevent One For All from killing him, but that's going pretty slow. So instead, deciding to teach him to use that of Nen instead would basically slow down that of One For All's, well, killing him. But of course, that's only that of a temporary fix, not a permanent solution. But with that, everybody in Class 1A has improved, with them heading to that of the provisional licensing exam, meeting those from Shiketsu, mainly that of Inasa, who was originally going to be at UA, but instead decided to go to Shiketsu, and even those from Ketsubutsu, and their teacher from that of the second years being Miss Joke, who has a thing for Aizawa. However, it seems like there's a thing that Aizawa didn't tell that of Class 1A to prepare for the Provisional Hero Licensing exam, which is not surprising. As for the Provisional Hero Licensing exam, it's being looked over by that of the Hero Public Safety Commission this year, since there's over that of 1,000 participants, they're only allowing that of 150 to excel, which means Class 1A has quite the hurdle to overcome, given that everybody already knows about their quirks thanks to the sports festival. But even with that, it's not enough to bring them down. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? As the Provisional Hero Licensing exam is basically on full swing, however, Class 1A is now suffering the number one reason on why UA students always take the exam during their second year instead of their first year. The UA crushing. Thanks to the sports festival, people are already aware of their quirks and can basically work around that of weaknesses to take them out. However, this year, on the other hand, due to the constant villain attacks and also having somebody with a quirk that allows them to basically transfer to other dimensions and other worlds with different power sets, well, they got another thing coming. Within, Izuku basically shouts out saying, "Guys, I know I said we should stick together, but I think it's best that we split up, at least for now." Within hearing that, Bakugo saying, "Are you goddamn kidding me, Deku? You basically said," "I know what I said, Kachan. I basically said don't split up from each other and stick together. Knowing these guys, and possibly in many other schools, they're going to try and overcome us with that of our weaknesses. It's best to work with that of teams that can basically counteract our weaknesses. Complement one another while also counteracting that of the people who think that they can take us out by knowing our quirks after all. But then Momo spoke up saying, "It's not a bad idea, Midoriya," with an Ida commenting saying, "Agreed. It's actually a pretty sound plan. As long as we work together, we can all move past this event. I know it, that's for sure." But then soon, that's when Pt.2 was on the attack once again, as each and every one of them used that of combination attacks and using their quirks in secret each other, while some just throwing out their quirks all willy-nilly. Like the two members of Pt.2 who were with that of Shindo, used their quirks to basically throw the balls to home in on that of everybody in Class 1A to tag that of their tags onto them. However, thanks to that of Jiro's quick thinking, they were able to prevent the balls from even hitting them by splitting the ground with that of her new support gear that amplified that of her Jack's quirk's heartbeat distortion, which even caused the ground to be unstable for them as well. With that, it gives Class 1A that of the chance saying, "All right, everyone, split up!" Within, all of them scream out, "Right!" As the teams that are basically sticking together is somewhat similar to canon, but with a little bit of differences. That being Izuku with that of Ochako, Tokoyami, Sero, and surprisingly Mineta as well. Unlike that in canon, Shoto basically goes off on his own so he doesn't get anybody dragged in, but however, he has at least that of two people with him this time, as it mainly being that of Ida and also Koda as well. Bakugo's team is basically the same too, with only that of two people being tagged along as well, that mainly being Mina and Aoyama actually, and nothing really changed with that of Momo's team. She's still with that of, Shoji, Kyoka, and also Tsuyu as well. As they separate and split up from one another, that's the same time when Shindo uses that of his vibration quirk, sending that of a powerful earthquake being that of his special move called Trembling Earth, as it consumes the entire area. However, for those who are already leaving, were able to escape that of the massive earthquake attack. As for those who are staying, on the other hand, they got caught up in it, and many of them got separated from one another, but not too far from one another, mainly thanks to Izuku using that of his Shadow Clone Jutsu to at least stay with that of at least a few people nearby, as the exam is still going full strong. At the same time, that's when everyone's favorite, loudmouth Windhead and Shoto's rival, depends on who you ask, Inasa Iwarashi, already in that of one of the city zones, gather up all of the balls and was about to eliminate a whole group of people. However, he's not there alone, as standing right beside him being that of Cammy. Being in a competition like this, showing my hot-blooded passion, it's truly amazing, truly astounding. As with that of his huge grin on his face, with Cammy saying, "Seriously, fam, you're always so excited over little everything, aren't you? But remember, try not to eliminate too many of them. I still need to move forward too, right?" With Ned saying, "Oh yeah, I got that. Then don't worry. I'll give it my all. I have to say to all of you, this is my sincere gratitude and apology." While bringing his hand down, at the same time, he brings his head down as well in that of a somewhat bowing position too. Sending that an entire hurricane and basically volley of balls down on all the participants in the zone. Basically eliminating each and every one of them, except a select few though. Mainly those who are basically getting, consumed by that of the winds. At this time, Cammy basically goes down and tags them out with that of her balls as well. She soon brings her hand up to that of a peace sign. Within, Arashi could help but have that and his toothy grin with that of a look of pure and utter victory on his face. As for Mira, the Hero Public Safety Commission proctor for this test, basically is completely and utterly shocked to the point that his sleepiness has completely and utterly disappeared for that moment. With those who were in the stand, mainly that of Aizawa, Miss Joke, and also that of Best Genius, couldn't help but be impressed with those from that of Shuketsu after all. Especially since he's literally the first one to basically eliminate all of them at once. With even Aizawa saying, to think the kid has come this far just by going to Shiketsu. I wonder how he would react if he basically decided to stay at UA instead of leaving. As Genius basically fixes his hair, like always, as saying, truly, UA missed out on such a brilliant talent after all. Such a gifted young man. By any chance, do you know the reason why? Within, Aizawa was saying, honestly, not really. He basically just rescinded his offer to go to UA and just planned on moving to Shiketsu after all. Luckily, their exams is that of 2 weeks after ours after all. So he had plenty of time to take that of the normal entrance exam. Unfortunately, he wouldn't have been recommended even so, but it didn't look like it mattered. Even Joe couldn't help but say, seriously, kids these days with quirks like this, it only makes you think on how crazy things are gonna get when even their kids basically get crazy quirks like that. But then, Joke saying, speaking of kids, Aizawa with that of a deadpan tone saying no. And she couldn't help but just laugh it off once more. Within, soon somebody else, or rather 2 people, ended up showing up saying, did it just start already? Oh man, I thought for sure I'd be able to come here before it does. But then, all 3 of them noticed that of two new familiar faces actually showing up to that at the stands. As it being that of Mount Lady, aka you, and Kamui Woods. But then, Best Genius can help but say, well, ain't this something? I didn't expect to see that of 2 newbies are here. Lady, Kamui, what brings you to 2 here? But then, seeing that of the 3 pros, as she decides to sit next to them alongside that of Kamui, saying, just wanted to see how the new generation are. Plus we had some time to kill, so we figured we just, come here and just see how they're doing. As then, Kamui couldn't help but mentally say, the main reason here is that you basically wanted to root for your boyfriend. However, Kamui's not stupid enough to basically call Mount Lady out for that. But then, Joke saying, oh, well, you don't hear that every day. But still, surprised that the Hero Public Safety Commission lets you guys even in. They got this place somewhat surrounded in a way. So as I was saying, not surprising. They're really taking this exam seriously. Plus, I feel like they're all mainly here to keep an eye on Midoriya after all. He hasn't done anything out of this blue or basically crazy like he normally does. Hopefully it stays that way. However, back on that of the field, everything kind of plays out a little bit the same. However, the only difference is Toga isn't here though. Unlike in canon where she basically took Cammy's identity and blood to basically transform into her to sneak into the exam to take that of Izuku's blood. However, the League of Villains are a little busy at this very moment actually. However, currently, with not having Toga there, it basically gives that of Izuku's team at least that of a lot more chances and basically pass a lot more faster than before. With Izuku's strategy and that of, Sarah and Minetta's quirks alongside that of Ochako, they were able to basically get their placements and were able to pass pretty quick, pretty easily. As for that of Shoto and his team with Ida and Koda, Shoto would still face against that of the, ninja wannabes, to be honest. And of course, they would basically work together to try and focus more on that of Shoto, seeing him as the biggest threat. However, with that of Koda and his Ana voice quirk, to basically gather as many animals as they can, having it with them basically being distracted with trying to get the animals away from them. And even with that of Ida, having at least a little bit more better control with that of his engine quirk, able to make at least that of better sharp turns, to be honest, and was able to knock out at least a little bit of them. Before then, using that of his flames, Shoto basically, burns at least a few of them, knocking them back, and with that, their team was able to pass pretty easily. Momo's team, just like in canon as well, would be separated and go to that of one of the city zones, and would soon be stalked by that of Psycho and Telly and her classmates from that of her hero school, her all-girls hero school after all. I forgot what the name was. Believing that they got the upper hand by counteracting almost all their quirks with making a code for that of Suyu to basically unable to react, destroying that of Jiro's support gear, being her amplifiers on her wrist, and also making it hard for Momo to create anything because of how cold it is, using up all of her lid bits after all. But that basically plays out that just like it would have in canon after all, allowing all of them to pass with flying colors too. Last up but not least, being that of Bakugo and his team, as of course they would still basically, interact with that of the Shiketsu student that some people see as the most wasted potential of a character ever, with a pretty goddamn overpowered quirk. Seiji Shishikuro, after all, and his meatball quirk. Instead of basically, eliminating people or already basically trying to pass, given his overpowered quirk, instead he basically turns all of the applicants into living flesh ball meatballs due to his quirk meatball. The reason being, he wants to basically whittle out and get rid of the filth of who don't deserve to be known as heroes after all. And the number one people he wanted to take on was mainly those from UA and especially Bakugo, as their interactions would basically be the same, him belittling UA and also Bakugo and everybody else around him as well. However, this would go at least a little bit more different than canon, where instead of Kirishima basically stepping in to try and save Bakugo to protect him after all, but instead it would actually be Aoyama using that of his naval laser to destroy that of his, the fleshy fingers that would have turned Kirishima into a meatball. Seeing the perfect opportunity, Bakugo basically barks out orders to that of his teammates, with Aoyama basically laying down suppressive fire onto that of the, meatball quirk. As for that of Kirishima and Mina, they would basically try and hold him down. However, doing so would basically put them in the line of fire of his quirk after all, and almost turn them into that of fleshy meatballs. However, if it wasn't for that of Bakugo also helping out instead of basically trying to take him out himself like the old him would have done, but instead helping out Aoyama with that of suppressive fire, with both Mina and Kirishima holding him down, leaving him open for that of Kaminari, and with that of his new support gear to send that of Disc, he sends that of a charge bolt shot towards that of Shishikura, knocking him out, and also basically, making it easier, making those who are affected by that of his meatball quirk to go back to normal as well. Which then, Bakugo was wanting to basically, eliminate him already. However, he basically said, "Hey, dunce face, eliminate him, why don't you?" But then, Kaminari saying, "Wait, what? Seriously? I thought for sure that you would. Do you want to basically get an easy point or not?" Kaminari jumping up and startled, but then saying, "Okay, I'll take it. And with that, Kirishima couldn't help but smile, saying, "Man, Baku bro, you've changed," saying, "Don't be too lax, dumbass. We still got more points to get after all." With his hands crackling with explosions and his team ready to gain even more points. With that, they were able to do so pretty easily, As for everybody else from that of Class 1A, originally they were able to gain as many points as they did, mainly due to that of Aoyama being a beacon to draw that of other, participants to gain that of points. However, I feel like that was unneeded actually, and could have been. It was a good way to increase for that of Aoyama's character development, but unnecessary. So I still think those from Class 1A would still be able to make it by the skin of their teeth, no less, but still able to make it even so. With time running out, and the first event of the Provisional Hero Licensing Exam comes to an end, with the pros quite shocked that all of their students were able to make it. Within, you couldn't help but also cheer for those in Class 1A as well. However, she was mainly doing it for that of Izuku and also Ochako and Momo as well. As for Genus and that of Aizawa, they already know the main reason on why she's here, as much as they basically don't want to know, but they do. As everybody is relaxing and having some fun and trying to, take a breather after that harrowing event. However, there's still the same amount of tension as that of canon would still happen between that of Shoto and that of Inasa as well. So that's still the same, which of course I wouldn't change so easily, of course. With causing a little bit of friction between that and that of Class 1A and also Shiketsu. However, one of the students from Shiketsu, a big furry big guy with tons of fur basically covering his body, being that of the second year's class representative Mora, wanted to apologize for that of Anissa's behavior because he's normally never like that, with added from that Kami, and also about that of and Shishikura as well, especially apologizes to Bakugo and his team, that he takes the ideas of what it means to be a hero quite seriously, to even that of a religious zealot in a way. Bakugo basically scoffs, saying, whatever, it's not like it matters. His opinions are his own and I don't give a damn about him in the first place. With Izuku wondering what did Bakugo had to basically go through, or who was basically so against him. I mean, he didn't make a lot, even though he did come pretty far in the interest in that of the UA Sports Festival. Even though he wasn't able to beat me, he still got a lot of people he still gained a lot of respect and notoriety. But then again, even though Kachan has changed, and I mean he's really changed, his personality is still somewhat the same. He's completely different from the Kachan he used to know. The same Kachan who would have belittled and basically looked down on everybody no matter who they were. He's changed. Whoever this guy thinks he knows him, he doesn't. That's for damn sure. But then, finally, as the break finally comes to an end, that's when explosions basically happen outside, causing everybody to freak out. However, from those in the stands, on the other hand, not so much. Within, Mara basically spoke up once again. The second portion of the exam, we have basically destroyed all of the zones, and now there's basically nothing but rubble. The reason being, you'll be basically rescuing survivors. The reason, as he basically explains that all of the survivors are basically actors playing roles, to be honest. And they'll also be graded for their actions too by that of the actors and also for those in the stands. So make sure that you're properly being the hero that needs to be when it comes to saving lives. With that, everybody soon heads out to prepare to know what they need to do and get everything settled. Once again, that's originally Bakugo was going to go off, however, deciding to basically go to that of Izuku and basically saying, all right, nerd, what do we need to do? And I swear to God, within saying, actually, I think we do need to stick together, Kachan. Saying, oh really? Now explain. As he's basically being generous right now. Within, Izuku taking a deep breath saying, look, I can tell what this is all about. Within, whispering to his ear saying, the entire layout of this area of this exam is similar to that of Camino. Within, hearing that, his eyes widening in pure and utter shock, saying, "Remember, even though I was in my hospital room and my clones were basically there, I remember all the same the desolation and destruction of the entire district around the city. I may not stick around, but I still kept update about what happened during Camino. People, we need to focus on saving as many people as we can. That also means try and not scream and basically belittle people as much as you can, even for those who look like they don't need immediate medical attention." But then, hearing that, Bakugo couldn't help but scoff before then saying, "Fine, I'll do it your way." Before screaming, "All right, extras, those with the more dangerous, more devastating, and more destructive quirks, come with me. We got some rubble and some pretty destroyed areas to clear out. The faster we find these extras, the sooner we get this shit over with." Within hearing that, everybody's completely off guard. Before then, those with that of the most destructive quirks, like that of Aoyama, Shoto, Mina, and Tokoyami, basically follow after Bakugo. Hell, Kirishima and Kaminari just follow out of instinct, just to make sure to keep him out of trouble after all. But Izuku couldn't help but smile and say, "He really is trying to change." With him mentally thinking, is he mainly trying to change this much? All because he's on a short time span. Then, shaking his head saying, "No, can't think like that right now. Need to focus on helping as many people as I can." Within saying, "All right, guys, let's do what we can to help out too. Let's focus on reconnaissance and finding as many people as we can. Shoji, Jiro, Koda, can you guys use your quirks to find as many civilians under that of the rubble and relay this stuff to that of Kachan and his team too?" But then, hearing that, all three of them say yes, with Koda basically just nodding, not wanting to speak up due to his shyness, as the exam basically goes on pretty well, with Class 1A working together, with Bakugo even actually helping out too, and actually listening to people for once. Things move a lot more smoothly than they would have in canon. However, that's when Gang Orca soon appears alongside that of his sidekicks, pretending to be villains for the exam. And again, I still call it sad, really, having to have Gang Orca basically play the villains because he's one of the top 3 heroes that basically look like villains after all. Matter of fact, I still want to know on who's number 2 and 1. Seeing this, Izuku couldn't help but act already, especially since they made that of a zone for that of injured civilians to be looked after by that of the students after all during the exam, as they were heading straight for them, with Izuku helping out, and surprisingly, Bakugo as well, because knowing him, this is exactly what he was made for. Even Shoto came in to help out too. However, that's also when Inasa also shows up as well, and of course, they begin to argue with one another. While arguing, they also Gang Orca, just like in canon, also knocks out that of Shido due to that of his, sonar blast after all. Both paralyzing and also, helping Shido too, with that of his drawback of his quirk at the same time. However, just like in canon, Shoto and Inasa continue to argue with both their attacks basically heading straight for that of Shindo. As Izuku was about to save him, that's when Bakugo basically came in and saved that of Shindo himself, within him screaming with that of multiple tick marks over his face saying, "What the hell are you goddamn idiots doing?" Within, the two realized what just happened, as throwing that of Shindo to the ground, with Izuku saying, "Nice work, Kachan." With Bakugo growling, saying, "Icy hot and that damn windy bastard is starting to piss me the hell off." Within the person on the ground, Shindo saying, "You and me both." Within, the 2 UA students look at that at the Ketsubutsu second year, within saying, "Wow, you're back up on your feet already?" Within realizing, "Oh, right, your quirk." Within saying, "So you figured out my quirk already, even before then. Man, you're a monster, Midoriya. Gang Orca basically helped me recover from that of my drawback of my quirk after all. I won't lie, I still have a little bit of ringing in my ears, but even so, my body was back up to tip-top shape. Unfortunately, I was going to use that time to basically sneak behind that of Gang Orca and catch him by surprise until those idiot first years got in my way. But then, Bakugo came up and say, now that I look at this damn guy, he looks like Deku but acts like me. I don't know if I like that. Then again, but then looking back at Izuku saying, the damn nerd is starting to curse more, so shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth and start to be a little bit damn greedy. However, as they were basically talking with one another, and that's when Inasa and Shoto were basically hit by that of Gang Orca's sidekicks. But then, both Izuku and Bakugo go back into the fray, with that of the villainous sidekicks basically heading for the civilians. That's when those from Class 1A, who were also helping out too, like that of Ojiro, Tsuyu, Kaminari, and Kirishima, came to help out alongside that of Shoji too, and Toru as well, surprisingly, making sure that the civilians don't get caught up in the crossfire. At the same time, both Shoto and Inasa finally put aside their differences and basically deciding to work together by using that of combining that of their Shoto's flames and Inasa's wind to basically create a flaming tornado. Seeing this, Izuku couldn't help but basically smirk, saying, I think I got a perfect way to help him out a little more. With that, Izuku jumps up into the air before weaving hand signs and then saying, lightning style, Rasen Javelin! Creating that of the Rasengan, channeling that of lightning style nature chakra inside of it, before the spear manipulates into that of the lightning spear, still with that of the spherical shaped orb in his hands, with that of lightning channeling through the edges of the blade of that of the Rasengan and throwing it down as the lightning was about to hit that of Gang Orca. But then Gang Orca saying, looks like they got me. Before then, the lightning basically consumes all of Gang Orca as he screams. Within seeing this, both Todoroki and Inasa basically stop. After that, the flaming tornado basically stops. Within, Gang Orca's seen on the ground on his knees, basically panting from basically being electrocuted. And not only that, given that he was basically being dehydrated at the same time from that of the flames and the added wind, he's kind of lucky to even be alive, to be honest. Good thing Izuku basically, held back a little bit with that Rasen Javelin after all. But then Izuku saying, oh, good thing I held back a little bit, but I feel like I should have held back at least a little bit more. After that, that's when the alarms finally go off and time runs out. With that, soon, with Izuku heading to that of Gang Orca, weaving hand signs for that of basic medical first aid ninjutsu, at least healing some of his wounds so he doesn't get overwhelmed after all, before he's basically able to see a doctor from that of his major wounds after all. But then saying, sorry about that, Gang Orca, I really am. Saying, don't sweat it, Midoriya. If anything, I should have been more prepared to see what's coming, especially given that you were here after all. But then, Izuku saying, that's quite flattering from you, sir. But then, him whispering saying, I know you're one of the vigilantes, possibly all three after all. Your quirk is pretty something out there, to be honest. But then, Izuku saying, within, having his hand up saying, don't worry, I won't say anything. Personally, I still want to thank you. I may not, truly support you being a vigilante since it's illegal, but I do appreciate the things that you do to help out others in need. You got the true qualities of a hero, kid. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. After hearing that and finish whatever healing he can do, Gang Orca is able to at least stand back on his feet a little bit, saying, now, you should get going. As for me, I better head to the hospital after all. With that, with the help of his sidekicks, Gang Orca is leaving the arena with Izuku saying, I really hope he gets well. With those in the stands, Aizawa saying, that damn problem child of mine. With you quietly saying, that damn boyfriend of mine. Within, Joke couldn't help but blink multiple times saying, wow, just wow. I never knew a hero student could actually take down that of a top 10 pro just like that, even getting Orca. Within, Best Genius, as he mentally thinks to himself, Midoriya is truly something else. Not only he was able to take down that of All For One, but he's also able to take on that of a top 10 pro without even breaking a sweat. I shouldn't be surprised, and yet my mind can't help but unable to comprehend this from happening. I will not lie, the boy is going to be a problem. However, if he continues to follow the rules as he has been, he definitely has a chance to become a great hero. With that, the final event for that of the provisional hero licensing exam comes to an end. With now tallying up all of the votes and everything else and see on who passed and who didn't. As those who are on that of the board are the ones who passed, while those who don't, will not. Trying to find his name, nervous, and as always, as soon as he noticed the board, as he soon looks through almost the entirety of the board, he notices it. He notices that his name is up there. He passed. With Izuku, couldn't help but take that of a breather of relief before then bringing his fist up to the air saying, I did it! With even everybody else in Class 1A couldn't help but celebrate, well, except that of, well, Shoto. He still ended up failing, alongside that of Inasa as well. However, Bakugo, on the other hand, he didn't fail. Hell, change of perspective, being One For All's successor, and also having at least a better and more healthier relationship with that of Izuku, helps this guy out a lot more to basically get his provisional hero licensing a lot more quicker than canon. Also add the fact that he isn't shouting at that of, well, that of the actors playing that of injured victims, and him basically not, and him walking around like an idiot and actually doing things to help people, basically made sure that he didn't have a low ass score. And with all that taken care of, the provision hero licensing exam finally comes to an end. Mara still brings to the fact that those who failed will basically take that of, well, recommendation classes to help them improve and get their provision hero license exam in another way. As, of course, with All Might's retirement, they all need to make sure that they have as many heroes out there as they can, even that of students like them. Which makes those who failed like that of Shoto and Inasa feel at least a little bit more confident. It also got Bakugo thinking, if he hasn't changed, wouldn't he be the same as them? Would he have failed just like that of Icy Hot and Windhead after all? Because if so, then looking back at Izuku, who's being congratulated alongside with that of Momo and Ochako, who also made it as well, thinking to himself, I really gotta thank the damn nerd so much for always looking out for me, even though he didn't even need to. Honestly, he shouldn't have to at all. With his final thoughts coming to an end, Bakugo finally had that of a look of determination in his eyes. Within, everybody going to basically get their licenses and get pictures for them as well. Even you congratulating Izuku, Ochako, and Momo, especially Izuku. However, Mineta, when he found out that Yu was there, he kind of freaked out, thinking she is a demon to torture him again after all. And let's just say it was a pretty good laugh for everybody in Class 1A for that moment. However, Yu and also Kamui Woods would have to leave. However, she did give Izuku a little bit of a heads up about what she'll be doing as a pro from now on, that she's decided to make a team of her own. Hearing that, Izuku couldn't help but say, then I wish you the best of luck, Yu, more than anything. And I know you're going to kill it, just as you always have. Giving her that of a comforting and caring smile, as she was really hard not to wanting to kiss him right on the spot, but not wanting to cause any trouble, but then saying, I won't let you down. Before walking off, and everybody else in Class 1A getting back on the bus and heading straight back to UA. As what does the future hold for Class 1A now? And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. So, how did you guys like this part? Sorry that I basically skipped through a lot of things and basically blitzed through things pretty easily because honestly, there was really nothing else I needed to do for this part actually. Personally, the provisional hero licensing exam is kind of pointless to be honestly for this Izuku. Given on how overpowered he is, that he's a lot more assertive and a lot more confident in himself, so he would be able to basically keep Class 1A together, even without people like that of Bakugo and Shoto. At that with Toga not wanting to take that of Kami's blood just to infiltrate that of the exam, just to take that of Izuku's blood, so that in total side plot was completely pointless and not needed, because I already have plans for that of the LOV in the future. You just guys gotta wait and see. But other than that, I basically wanted to blitz through this arc really quick and get straight into that of the most important arc for this series, and that being the overhaul arc. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my side channel, my other channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, and hope you all take care. Take it away, Shiro.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!